Hello, Erin here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a scrapbook layout for you. I recently stumbled across these older photos from 2013. That's my husband and we were enjoying a seafood meal out at a fancy restaurant, and I decided that the Friends of the Ocean paper would be perfect for these. There's lots of different colorways, but if you look at this one, it's like a deeper orangey tone. I love that pattern paper with the photos, and then I thought it'd be fun to use the lobsters because of the lobster on my husband's bib there from the restaurant. This will be a single page because I only have the 3 photos. So let me clear these out of the way. It was kind of funny. I actually found these photos because I recently redid an aquarium layout from 2013. And when I was looking for additional photos, I came across these. So I am thinking something possibly like this. I apologize for the light ring there. I will actually shut that off here shortly, and it's kind of distracting, but I'm thinking maybe something like that. I don't know. I want to do a little cluster so we can, arrange these in several different ways, and then we could possibly put this one here. I like that. I might want to bring in some pattern paper. Now this darker one here is Calipso Coral, and we could use that. So I'm kind of considering stamping on the background too, so this might be too dark. Let's try this lighter one here. This is actually Petal Pink, which is a very peachy tone, and this is the two-tone Petal Pink, lighter on one side, darker on the other. And I can already tell you, I think I'm gonna like this one better. There was just too many dark colors going on with the Calipso Coral. So let's see how these look. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to trim these down, maybe just a 4-inch piece of the lobster paper, and let me cut these and I'll be right back. To save paper, I'm actually bringing in a piece of white daisy cardstock. You could use an ugly piece of paper you have in your stash because you won't see any of this, and that's a great way to get rid of those papers. You're kind of like, I don't think I'll ever use that. So actually, I could trim off the left-hand side of these because my 4 by 12-inch piece of lobster paper is going to cover those. So I'll do that later off camera. Let's go ahead and bring our photos back in. I did print these with a white border, so we already have the white photo mat, but I think I might double mat some of these just to make them stand out a little bit more. I've grabbed Ocean Friends, Seaside Wishes. I've got my Documenting the Day stamp set for a title, and Beauty of the Deep. This is currently a freebie you can earn with your purchase for the celebration promotion going on, and it's a title builder stamp. So I'm thinking about the word day, and we could possibly cut this out and put it in this area, or we can stamp it right on the background in this area up here. And that actually fits over that photo really nicely. It kind of creates a column. I know I already have quite a few embellishments created left over from other projects. I'm just pulling out some of these pieces so we can start creating with them on the layout. You can see I've got sand dollars and little bits of die cuts, and there's a little lobster down there from the Ocean Friends set. I've got actually a ton of these stamped out in different colors, the crabs and lobsters. I was having fun with all the different color combinations here. We were in Monterey for my sister-in-law's wedding. My husband and I treated ourselves to this nice seafood meal. He was having cioppino, which is like a seafood stew. I remember having scallops, even though it was so long ago. So I'm just trying different embellishments, possibly. I want something down here, but I don't necessarily want the lobster over the lobster paper. Let's bring in one of my go-to tried and true techniques. And you know what? Let's just see what this looks like up here first. This is one of the Spotlight on Nature dies, and the border on this particular circle reminds me of a plate. So I thought it would be fun, kind of like serving the seafood up on a plate. I want my title to read Catch of the Day. So we have the stamp for the word day, and I'm going to use the mini alphabet die to die cut out the letters for the rest of it. So I'm just kind of eyeballing that. It will fit in that area, but I just want the title up top here. I think it's going to be perfect and it'll stand out better. So let's actually put this circle down here, and then that way our embellishments will stand out over that busier background. There's lots of different colorways in this paper collection. Now the pattern papers I've selected don't add in any of those pretty blue greens, but that doesn't mean we still can't incorporate them. Aren't these pretty? This is the sand dollar from the Seaside Wishes, and I have just embossed that one. But let's try to bring in some of this. I think that is Lagoon. When you add a random splash of color like that, I do recommend you incorporate it elsewhere on the layout in a couple locations so that it kind of makes more sense. Let's work on the title for now. So I need to kind of clear a spot here. I was going to stamp the word day right on the background, but I really want that color to be crisp and true to itself. So I'm going to stamp it on a white piece of paper and then I'll die cut it out. That color is not Lagoon. I said Lagoon earlier. It's actually Coastal Cabana, which is what I'm using to stamp the word day. I'm using my stamp positioner because this is what I call like a solid stamp, not an outline. And sometimes you do need to ink these up and stamp them a couple times to get the best possible impression. So let's see how it did. Yeah, that can definitely use a second coat of color. So we'll just repeat the process there. And usually two will do it. Much easier when you have a stamp positioner and you can line them up perfectly. If you are thinking about getting a MISTI stamping platform for your craft room, I do recommend the original size. There's a mini, an original, and like a full memory keeping size. I'm going to go ahead and die cut those out real quick off camera. I do actually have all three, and the original pretty much meets 99% of my stamping needs. So if you're only going to get one, I recommend the original. Using the mini alpha dies, I'm going to die cut the letters from Calipso Coral. I'm actually really glad I used the Petal Pink for the background because the Calipso Coral color will stand out much better. I'm spelling out the word catch and then the. I don't have room for catch of the, so we'll stamp the word of using some alpha stamps here in just a moment. I always like the look of different fonts mixed and matched together too for fun looks. Some other ways to add this color, we can matte this photo here on the Coastal Cabana. And you can see already adding it in the title, we've got it in the coral, and now the photo matte. It's making a lot more sense. I shut off the overhead light to get rid of that reflection, so it's a little bit dark, but I think it's less distracting without the reflection. I do want a little bit of, embellishing down here. And I did dig out this stamp set from my stash. It's Meals and Memories. I stamped this little embellishment in the same Coastal Cabana. And now you can see we've got that visual triangle of that pop of blue-green color. And now it's kind of all tying in, and I'm loving the way it looks. And I think it's a fun addition of color to this layout. Along the subject of balancing color on your layout, we do have that berry burst color. It's in the lobster right here, and that's not anywhere else on the layout. So I think I need to add a little bit of that in. I've got Seaside Wishes and Beauty of the Deep, and maybe we can start with some of these little sea stars here. It doesn't have to be a lot of color. I just like to repeat it elsewhere on the page. These little sea stars are so pretty. I love the little detailing in them. So let's start with the smaller one. There's two sizes. And again, we don't need a huge pop of color, just a little something, something. That one might not be big enough. I'm going to go ahead and stamp out a few of them. So I've got the smaller size and then the larger size. I like that a lot better. I think the balance is better with the larger one. And then maybe we can put this little guy up here. I do need to finish up my title, so I've got a nice collection of alphabet stamps, and they're really a nice staple to have in your craft room. I wanted a small one, so I've got this one here. It's called Memo Alpha, and we are going to add the word of in between catch and the. So catch of the day. Enjoying seafood while on the ocean always makes it so much better. It just, I don't know, maybe it's the whole ambiance of being on the coast, or maybe it's just fresher. Either way, we always love to treat ourselves to seafood when we visit the ocean. And I'm not a huge fan of like oysters. My husband likes them. So we had the appetizer you can see there in the one photo. But yeah, No, thank you. I'll pass on those. Are you an oyster fan? Not so much for me. I do love, whenever we go out to eat, I tend to get like a shrimp or scallops or something like that. So yummy. And of course, clam chowder. So I printed out my journaling on a circle, and I'm going to swap these. I printed it out on cardstock and die cut that out. And then we can just tuck it back, and I'll use that circle on another layout. They will always get used up. It was kind of nice to have it handy so I can see how it looked on the layout. And then of course we need to add a little bit of bling. These kind of remind me of beach glass. They are part of this collection, so they match perfectly. And there's all the different colors. So I'm just going to add a few of these around my clusters and give a little sparkle, a little texture. They are called the Sunny Days Iridescent Dots, and I've got my Take Your Pick tool. It's got a little wax tip, and this is pretty helpful. You just want to push it, and it kind of sticks to the tip, and then you can place them right on your layout. If you are watching this on the day I released it, Tuesday, February 4th, Stampin' Up! Just added several more awesome items to the celebration event. So that's items you can earn for free with your purchase. There's some alphabet dies, some really cool stamp sets that I already had in my stash and love. So you definitely want to check those out. Everything I used will be listed in the description box below to create this layout, and I just love all of these beach icons. I've been having so much fun with them. If you're looking for more ocean-inspired type layouts, watch these videos right here, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you spending time with me, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. I'll see you soon.